was a book to encourage the saints that had lost hope.
Yeah, that's it.
They had went through a lot of trials and tribulation in the city of Ephesus,
Yes.
where they had a commotion that broke forth, and they carried the magistrates and folks in front of the Colosseum, and they wanted to know who in the city of Ephesus do they believe.
All right now.
If it's the God of Paul and the Christians, or is it Diana? And they went there, and the magistrate had to calm them down in the midst of the city. He said, if the Romans hear about this uproar,
All right now.
somebody gonna be to blame.
Yes.
I'm paraphrasing it for you, but then he asked him, and they wanted to know who is the God of Ephesus.
Yes.
And the crowd hollered out, and he spoke out, and he did what he thought that would calm the crowd. And he said, it's Diana,
Yeah, that's it. That's what they said.
the God of Ephesus. So Paul writes back to them that stood there in encouragement and seen the whole city decide to keep their evil nature.
All right. All right.
And he speaks to the Christians and the saints, and he want to thank them for their prayers and everything that went on,
Yes.
because they wanted to catch Paul and drag him in front of the magistrate,
Yes.
but they couldn't get him. But this was in the city, he wanted to encourage the saints. He said, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that you might know what is the hope of his calling,
Yes. Yes.
and what is the riches of his glory,
Yes.
of his inheritance in the saints.
Yes.
So in other words, he was speaking to them. Paul was trying to encourage them to hold on.
Yes.
And we understand now, looking at our God's redemptive working power, and sometimes, you know, we always think it's something we did of our own self that's allowed us to be here.
All right. All right.
But the God I know, he works in the past to present things in the present, to work things into the future.
All right. All right.
And we see things in our own lives, and we understand the things that we went through. And we went through the holiday of Martin Luther King, and I wondered what he would say, and he would look at our society today.
All right now.
And you see the influence of black on black crime.
Yes. Yes.
Our young men would not even the opportunity to get a good education.
Amen.
Seeing how drugs have ravaged our society.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And seeing how people are in these small places are without hope.
Yes.
And life means nothing to any man nowadays.
Yes.
Don't mean nothing to shoot nobody where you're in the street or in the house.
All right now.
Walking on the sidewalk, driving in a car.
Yes.
It means nothing, life today.
Yes.
But the redemptive work of God is getting us to this point. Sometimes we see when God moves by his power, it seems it's at the darkest hour.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Hallelujah.
And I wonder if we ain't in the darkest hour.
Yes.
Darkest hour where folks can't feel at peace at home, or peace in the street, peace anywhere they go. And we see there's a ruckus everywhere, and I said this is the cause of the enemy. But God speaks to as Paul was speaking to a city of believers.
Yes.
Had to hide their religious belief.
All right. All right.
And he let us know the eyes of your understanding.
Yes.
We kind of see this as God has worked forth in the past.
Yes.
Sometimes it looked like when man was at their last end, that's when God stepped in.
Yes.
We've already seen it. We've seen man in their fallen state.
Yes.
We can even go back to Adam. In his fallen state, the first thing he wanted to do was blame the woman,
Yes.
when he should have took the blame himself.
Yes.
We see man in their fallen state. Jesus did. Then they begin to work a redemption work already.
All right. All
And
right.
he said the seed of the woman. What bruised the serpent head.
All right. All right.
That's the working in the past to bring forth the future.
Yes. Yes.
Then God tried to work, with the 7 dispensation.
Yes.
Let's just take conscience. Went out there and seen out there in the field, and Cain had slain Abel.
All right now.
Asked him, did he even have conscience?
Yes.
He required to God, am I my brother's keeper?
Uh-huh.
Ain't that a shame?
Yes.
God had replied to him, I hear Abel's blood screaming from the ground.
Yes.
Something is wrong here.
Yes. Hallelujah.
God went on and what said had to speak to Noah and his generation.
Yes.
And why did he have to speak to them? Because Noah was the only righteous man that would hear God's call.
Yes.
And had to speak to them, but God was working in the past.
Yes.
And God got to the point, he said, every imagination of man is what? Evil. And he decided to destroy the world with water.
Yes.
But God is working in the past to bring to the present. And much as he brought all the prophets into Israel and all them that spoke before them,
Yes.
Jeremiah, even Isaiah, to call them that we had fallen and forgotten our God.
Oh, yes.
They yet didn't want to hear.
Yes.
But God is working the past to bring forth the present. He knew that these things were happening in our world.
Yes.
We look at the present time of the Ephesians and how the world was bent on evil.
Oh, yes.
It was a time where there was evil nature. I had already said to some of you that are here that we understand that Ephesus was a city that was built on worshiping the god of Diana,
Yes.
which was a god of lust and profit.
Yes. All right.
There were people that made shrines and images of Diana that sold for silver and made a lot of money.
Yes.
And the images in our children have become, the family had come disconnected with relationships of father and son and mother and daughter. That had become a distant relationship. They had broken the family life. That children was pushed into slavery,
Yes.
turned into prostitutes and servants to the god of Diana.
Yes. Yes.
And we see this brokenness even in our world.
All right now.
And we look at the presence, and I say, sometimes the folks say, well, you're going to, they say, well, we trying to catch this one guy. He's doing something, and, he's probably the black sheep of the family. But now we say these things now. But now we find out that these families are really broken.
Yes.
It's not the black sheep. I always say that you go after one person in the family for drugs, our whole family is on drugs.
Yes. Yes.
Because that one relationship, folks always think it never hurt. I'm not hurting nobody. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You're hurting your generation.
Yes.
So a family that's addicted on drugs or a family that's on alcohol, you're affecting the whole family.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And I seen them at one time, they was looking for an individual, and they went in the house and went to get him. They almost had to arrest the whole family because everybody was involved.
Yes.
Because this become not a family affair, it become a profit affair.
Yes.
They don't care who they turn in now. They'll turn in mama and daddy.
Yes.
And everybody involved.
Yes.
This is the world we coming in. This is the present we in. But this is the power of God moving by his power. When there is so much brokenness, that's the only way it can be packed back together is with God.